Jim Kober opened his West Michigan veterinary practice in 1993, a journey that started on his family's home farm in Sparta. When Jim's father retired in 1992, the operation had 100 sows and dual-site finishing barns.
Well, I always kind of wanted to be involved in agriculture, but my dad encouraged me to leave the farm, get a degree. He didn't want me to work as hard as he did, so I decided maybe a veterinary degree, I could still be involved in agriculture without having a farm. So I did that, and as I went through both undergraduate and veterinary school, I knew a lot about pigs, so people would come to me with pig questions. So I kind of got funneled into the pig world. And then my mentor in veterinary school was Dr. Brad Thacker, was at MSU at the time, and he gave me a job and took me to a lot of farms and taught me a lot about veterinary medicine in the swine world. And I graduated and got a job with pigs and just have focused on that ever since. So I was kind of funneled that way because I just came into college knowing a lot about it.
Known Dr. Kober for a long time. First met him when he was working for Bergman Animal Clinic down in Cassopolis, and he found out about field farrowing then. And then he had the opportunity to move to Indiana and work with Dr. Max Rodebaugh in Frankfort, Indiana. Worked a lot of confinement operations, gained experience there, and then moved back to Michigan. And if you look at what Dr. Kober has done in working with a broad range of producers, from 4-H pigs to commercial hogs to breeding stock, he crosses the whole gambit, and they all eat a little bit different.
When I started, I worked exclusively with the owners of the pigs. We could make decisions right there on the spot about vaccine changes, management changes, things like that. As farms have grown, no longer see the owner. I'm working with production people, a lot bigger farms, so fewer to work with. I would say the pig care is not necessarily better or worse than it used to be, it's just different. My observation is that if people don't own the pigs, they don't take care of them in the same way an owner-operator would. We are constantly working with the employees, trying to teach them how to take care of pigs. Most of them haven't grown up on a hog farm, whereas 20 or 30 years ago, a lot of the employees grew up on hog farms. So it's taking people who know nothing about livestock and trying to teach them empathy and how to take care of pigs.
It's a difficult industry to be in when you have to scale the PhD level all the way down to somebody that's going to be hands-on taking care of a sow in a farrowing crate. He's able to bridge that gap from this wealth of knowledge, multiple locations throughout the state and throughout the country that he works with, down to a very new employee, probably coming into the barn for the very first time in their life, and explaining basic animal care to them and getting them to appreciate the job and do it correctly.
When Jim isn't taking care of other people's pigs, he's at his own finishing barn or spending time with his family when they're around.
I do a lot of contract finisher sites, people, and I'm not always happy with the way they produce because pretty enjoyable, pretty easy job, so I decided I'd put a barn up myself. So we're currently in the contract barn that I own. I contract pigs with Valley View Pork, Fred Walcott. So they bring me wean pigs into this barn, 12 to 15 pounds, 4,000 all at once. We grow them out, take care of them, and then they're shipped out to market. My wife Donna has been a cheerleader for me. She's not necessarily directly involved in the business, but she's very good with numbers and accounting, so she helps me with year-end things, directs me that way. Our three kids are Ben, who's third-year medical school in Bowling Green, Kentucky. Sarah is second-year medical school at Michigan State, and my youngest daughter Amy plays volleyball at Kent State University in Kent, Ohio. On September 7th, I was working out at the farm, spreading some compost. Unfortunately, got my clothing wrapped up in a power takeoff, ended up removing my right arm. So I got the assistance I needed, was in the hospital, of course, now have an artificial arm. but I'm going to try to maintain my practice. I'm out and about full-time now, working on farms. There's a few things I can't do. I have to have assistants with me, but my objective is just to move forward and practice the way I always have, run the barn the way I always have. Fortunately, I have good help and good support systems, so my goal is not to let it interfere with my life. It's just going to go a little different direction than I had planned.